Monday evening, everyone. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here with, of course, it's weather for Weather Geeks. Plenty to geek out on this evening, even though the weather's kind of just ho-hum right now. We've had some interesting things happen over the last few days. We'll have some interesting changes in the pattern going forward into the second half of October. But yeah, cool has been the rule over the last 10 days or so. We had a high of 57 today. That's still 5 below the average for this time of the year. We had one day last week where we got up to the average, but otherwise it's been cooler than average by a fair margin most of our days since the pattern flipped after that first warm stretch in the month of October during the first 5 or 6 days of the month. Too bad we had too many clouds on Saturday to view the eclipse, but lots of great videos and pictures, especially from the southwestern U.S. And this is a satellite animation from North America, and specifically hovered over the U.S. on Saturday around midday, and you can see the moon shadow moving across. It was interesting to watch the observations from reporting sites across the Southwest, the Southern Plain states. It got cooler for a handful of minutes as it got pretty dark outside briefly as the eclipse moved over. This is what's called an annular eclipse, so the moon did not completely cover the sun's face, but it provided kind of a ring of fire effect where the moon, for a moment in time anyway, was right in the middle of the sun's face, and the outer edges then you could still see the sun, that part of the sun anyway, unlike a total solar eclipse that we'll have in April, in which the moon completely covers the sun. That's what we can look forward to, fingers crossed for the weather, coming up on April the 8th of next year. Cool has been the rule lately, but we have not had a freeze yet this season at the airport or anywhere else across the area, and we just passed the 30-year average for the first 32-degree reading of the season. The 30-year average is October 15th, but it was on this date last year that we actually had a 32-degree reading at the Youngstown Warren Airport. And yeah, there's variation from year to year. 2019, we didn't have a freeze until November the 1st. That being said, over the next 7 nights, I don't see many chances to get that cold, thanks mostly to clouds. Now, this ends Monday morning, a week from now, next Monday morning. Next Monday night into Tuesday morning, that may be a chance to get cold enough to flirt with the 32-degree mark. Now, this is 8 days from now, so much can change, but the way it looks right now is that we don't have any real concerns about, killing freeze or frost until maybe the middle portions of next week. All right, thanks as always to our partners at explorefall.com for the latest foliage update. The colors are looking pretty good across our area. I don't think we're quite at peak in most places just yet. In a few spots, you could probably say it's pretty darn close to peak. But truly at peak now, just, an hour or two to our east. And by the end of this week and into the weekend, I think we'll truly be at our peak color across most of Northeast Ohio and Northwest PA. Here's the official forecast from Explore Fall for a week from now on the 23rd. Showing peak color common across Northeast Ohio and Northwest PA, past peak color in the higher terrain of northern Pennsylvania, southern New York. There'll be a lot of bare trees in a lot of those places coming up by this weekend and into next week. But in our viewing area, the true peak is probably sometime late this week into next weekend and maybe early next week. Yeah, sea of clouds today. Occasionally there's been a hole or two in these clouds, but generally speaking, of course, the clouds won the battle. We had an occasional spritz or a sprinkle or a shower that pushed through. Those are fading away early on this evening. We'll hang on to the clouds into most of our Tuesday. Pretty ho-hum day coming up for tomorrow. There might be a renegade sprinkle. That should be about it. Just a mostly cloudy and cool day. But there will be some clearing of the sky then tomorrow night. Heading into parts of Wednesday, it's not going to be a bright and sunny day Wednesday, but it probably will be somewhat brighter than the previous handful of days. The sky stays partially clear then into Wednesday night and Thursday morning. It looks like clouds increase again by Thursday afternoon. Our next chance for some showers beyond a renegade sprinkle on Tuesday will be towards sunset Thursday evening, and especially into the overnight and into parts of Friday as well. We haven't really had many wet weather concerns for high school football this season, but this week could be an exception. There might be a couple of showers still around Friday evening as the cooler air really starts to make inroads, and it will be another cool weekend. No better than 57 Saturday and 52 on Sunday. Chances for showers here and there, both Saturday and Sunday. There's some model disagreement about how fast the moisture pulls away at the end of the weekend and early next week. If some of the faster modeling were to be believed, we may be okay on Sunday. For the Youngstown Marathon, I just ran the Columbus Half Marathon yesterday. I'll be here in town doing the Youngstown Half Marathon coming up on Sunday. Fingers crossed for no rain, but it's going to be chilly either way. Temperatures Sunday afternoon, probably no better than the lower 50s. But there are signs of at least a temporary pattern change during that final week of October, this big deep trough that settles in for Friday and the weekend delivers the cool air. But notice as you look off to the west, towards Vancouver, towards Portland, western North America, a trough starts to dig in early next week out there, and that causes a chain reaction usually. When there's a big trough out here, there's usually downstream of that a building ridge, and I expect that pattern to transpire or develop during the middle of next week, and that should ensure at least a few days where it gets pretty mild. We could be in the middle, maybe even upper 60s for a few days during the final stretches of October. That pattern will probably continue in kind of a back and forth manner into at least early on in November. It's a little too early to speculate a whole lot on November as a whole, although we'll take our first shot at it probably towards the end of this week. But at least the beginning of November probably does feature some back and forth where there'll be some cool shots, but maybe some mild spells as well. It doesn't look like it's, cold from start to finish during that final stretch of October and start of November. More on the longer range later this week on Weather for Weather Geeks. Thank you as always for watching on this Monday evening, and I'll see you right back here on Tuesday.